Hi, friends. So today I wanted to talk about uh, authenticity versus cultural customs and rituals, those behaviors uh, that everyone does in society, in a culture. And more specifically, what I want to get at is kind of thinking about what is appreciated during an interaction, which one of those two is more appreciated, and ideally both, of course, ideally both. But what I've found and been thinking about recently is that in Japanese culture, I find that rather than authenticity, sometimes just the behavioral operation, the customs and rituals is appreciated, sometimes even more than authenticity. And that really confused me when I first came to Japan. I should probably explain what I mean by customs and rituals, but I, the, I guess there's so many things I could talk about. But let's say emails, business emails, there's specific introduction and ending that you write no matter what in every single email. And because it's so, it's repetitive so much that I honestly feel it has absolutely no meaning to it anymore. And yet, people continue to do it, and people continue to, not everyone, but some expect it or need it, uh, or appreciate it. I think there's a few different patterns. One is that people generally actually do appreciate the repetitive phrase. Others just expect it so much that it's not that they appreciate it, but the lack of it annoys them. Then there's those who just do it operationally and can't just distinguish it anymore. They don't see it. They don't realize they're doing it because it's so repetitive. Anyway, things like that. There's these routine behaviors that occur in Japan or in any culture too, but that I see a lot. And people seem to take a lot more note of it. Uh, how you speak, the manner in which you speak, including the vocabulary and the level of respect. And I understand this is common in any culture, in any language, but in Japanese, I definitely feel that there's its own very unique, nuanced way of doing it. For example, there's a way to speak down to someone, a way to speak up, and then speak at the same level just within the business language. And people take note of that. But anyway, when you have all these different layers and operations and communication methods, it I guess people become better at noticing the differences. And when you're taught to do all these things and experience it and understand it from a young age, I guess your brain begins to get wired in a way that it expects it or it reacts to it. And so, back to the point I was trying to make in the first place, I feel that I see people sometimes rather see or hear or feel the social customs, the cultural behaviors, more than the authenticity behind it. Uh, and they appreciate that more. And for me, it's hard to fully grasp still, but having experienced it, especially in, let's say my current work culture, and seeing people genuinely kind of appreciating it and also expecting it, I've learned to kind of better accept that people really do appreciate it, I guess. I think it's just the environment I've been in so far. Uh, I've generally had people around me feel that authenticity is more important than these behavioral repetitiveness that is done just for the sake of doing it. And so it's hard for me to interpret it in a more accepting way, but it's interesting. And I guess for me, doing it initially was very weird because sometimes I would do it just for the sake of doing it, and I would feel guilty because I don't feel like I'm doing it authentically. I don't really mean it. I just do it because it's expected. But I guess over time, you start to kind of pick it up. I mean, you could also say that my brain is rewiring itself right now and adjusting to this new culture. So now, maybe over time, in the next 10 years, my brain will also learn to get some sort of stimulation from these customs and rituals. But yeah, just my thoughts and observations regarding this topic. And yeah, thanks for listening. Ciao.